8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight. Lows level off around 56. Daytime highs approaching 79 tomorrow. Mainly clear. Get weather anytime by calling 824-6101 or online at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Right now, it's 57 degrees.
WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station. Time now for your expanded local news. I'm Reed Kamai. The Christian County Board met yesterday evening for about an hour to discuss new business and committee reports and hear from the public in their April meeting. In public comments, Brent Frump spoke on data centers and concerns that he had over them coming to Christian County and to areas near his farm. Multiple appointees were selected for the Board of Trustees, including John O'Brien, Pat Grant, Joe Dorr, Matt Mazier, and Roger Clymer. A Black Diamond special use permit extension request was granted. Board Chair Brian Sharp says that the concessions that have been made have protected the county up to this point due to rules made by the state.
The concessions that have been made and agreed to, there have been several of them,
Right, and
that have been made and agreed to by Swift Energy for the Black Diamond project, that have been that have been protected by, and they have agreed to fulfill those things. So it's probably important that this moves, that this passes, and so that we can continue to protect residents of the county and continue to, with the agreements that we've made over this period. So.
and they did sign this out.
Good.
We have it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Very good. So with that, is there any other questions?
The motion passed with members Clint Epley, Clint Gabriel, and Dave Pachetti voting no. A motion for servicing and custodial agreement between Christian County, Advanced Title, and the Christian County Farm Bureau was approved and passed. A safety grant was passed. Sharp explained that the grant is money back for upgrades on things that normally would not be money spent.
Okay, the safety grant is an ongoing thing. It's money we receive back from, rebated back from our insurance company or given back to be used on upgrades or issue things that, we normally maybe wouldn't spend money on. We got Ron last year or 2 years ago. So when he's climbing around up on the steeple, he can be tied off well. So that's kind of an example of what we're doing. Ashley, she handled this for us, collecting the information for the department heads. Do you recall what those? I think they're in here, but
software for the body cams for the jail.
Okay.
So that the jailers can now wear the body cams, and then probation is requesting a new door because they have a door that's not the safest over there.
A joint resolution with the city of Taylorville was passed. A motion concerning a request to sell asphalt was approved. A supervisor of assessment stipend was approved $3,500 annually. More work at the jail is being approved, including tuck pointing and replacement and repair of the shower floors. Community cleanup grants were approved for Taylorville, Pana, Edinburgh, Owanaco, and Mount Auburn. A U of I extension annual agreement was approved. The next county board meeting is set for Tuesday, May 19th at 6. The Taylorville City Council met Monday night to discuss the approval of several new ordinances. The motions that were considered and approved were as follows. A joint resolution with Christian County for the Paper Mill Branch Infrastructure Project. A motion to approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Taylorville and American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, or AFSCME, Local 3349, regarding vacation policies. A motion to approve a Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Taylorville and AFSCME Council 31 and AFSCME Local 3349 regarding regular work schedule, PTO, and holiday pay for dispatchers. A motion to direct the city attorney to prepare the appropriate ordinance and related documents to authorize the city to obtain a not to exceed $750,000 5-year term loan and a not to exceed $850,000 5-year term loan from the First National Bank of Pana to purchase vehicles for the street department and the fire department. A motion to approve the intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the city of Charleston. A motion to approve the Business Development District No. 1 redevelopment agreement for the property located at 113 West Poplar Street in the amount of $569.17. A motion to direct the city attorney to prepare an ordinance with fees included, as well as adopt the MFPA 855 codes. A motion to accept the quote from Broadkey Well and Pump for well pump treatment and repair at a cost not to exceed $130,000 and to waive all statutory bidding requirements subject to compliance with the Illinois Prevailing Wage Act. All of the ordinances and discussion at the council meeting were approved, aside from a motion to utilize Solar on Earth to complete the application for the Illinois Shines program. The motion never received a second, causing it to be wiped off the table and disregarded. When the chance came, Aidan Maruco, a transparency advocate and member of the public, spoke out asking for clarity on budget spending and the allocation of taxpayer dollars in regards to the 2024-25 City of Taylorville audits, stating material deficiencies and weaknesses within internal controls, accountability of pooled funds, and grant administration. Maruco was heard by the council and thanked for his time speaking. With construction in full swing across the state of Illinois, the Illinois Department of Transportation, Illinois State Police, Illinois Tollway, industry partners, labor groups, local agencies, and frontline construction workers teamed up to start National Work Zone Awareness Week. The group came together to remind the public that safe actions save lives. According to Gia Biaggi, Illinois Transportation Secretary, IDOT is doing everything it can to fix and modernize roads and bridges, and offered a simple reminder to stay alert in work zones. Biaggi also reminded the public to slow down and give road crews plenty of room to do their jobs. To call attention to the heightened risks in work zones, J.B. Pritzker proclaimed that April 20th through April 24th will be official Work Zone Safety Week in Illinois. This year's theme for National Work Zone Awareness Week is Safe Actions Save Lives. Multiple individuals gave speeches at the event, including 9-year-old Harper Stork, who says her dad spends a lot of time working in construction zones. Stork also explained the importance of safety in work zones. Paula Crouch, Sangamon County Sheriff, also spoke and said it is always important to slow down, pay attention, put away the cell phone, and avoid all distractions. Sheriff Crouch added that drivers owe it to construction workers to keep them safe, considering the hard work they put in to maintain roads.
Morning. As summer approaches, our students are getting out of school, our families are taking vacation, and teams are busy working on our roadways to make our travel easier and safer. Every day and in every condition, work crews come to work to help make our travel better. While it is always important to pay attention when you get behind the wheel of your vehicle, it is required that you exercise extreme caution when in a work zone. Slow down, pay attention, forget that you have a cell phone, don't change your radio station, and put down your soda. All of these things can wait. Safe driving is a full-time job. A split second of taking your eyes off the roadway can be deadly. Men and women are working hard to make our roadways better for us. We owe it to them to show our respect by practicing safe driving. They deserve to go home every night to their families. For the sake of the highway workers and maintainers, the motoring public, and yourself, give your full attention to driving in these zones. Thank you.
Another speaker at the event was Josh Adcock, an ISP captain, who spoke about the importance of watching for workers in work zones. Adcock said law enforcement has handled 640 crashes in work zones throughout the state, many of which involved personal injuries.
Thank you, Secretary Biaggi, and good morning, everyone. I'm Captain Josh Adcock with the Illinois State Police. ISP is blessed to join the Illinois Department of Transportation and our community partners in recognizing 2026 Work Zone Safety Awareness Week. ISP is dedicated to partnering with stakeholders throughout Illinois to protect construction zone workers, first responders, and the motoring public. Every day, ISP deploys officers to construction zones to monitor traffic flow and identify drivers who disobey work zone speed limits and violate other traffic laws. With many construction projects throughout the state, ISP reminds drivers that speeding, distracted driving, driving while impaired, especially in work zone areas, are a serious offense. In just the first 3 months of 2026, ISP has already handled 640 crashes in recognized work zones across the state. Of those, 91 resulted in someone being injured. Already this year, 8 of our troopers have been struck by people who have failed to slow down, move over, and yield to emergency vehicle. 2 of these troopers suffered serious injuries. We want to take this opportunity to remind drivers, move over, also known as the Scott's Law. It requires drivers to move over, slow down when approaching both stationary and moving emergency vehicles with their emergency lights activated. The move over law not only applies to law enforcement vehicles, but also ambulances, fire trucks, IDOT, tollway emergency traffic vehicles, tow trucks, and other authorized emergency vehicles. We will continue to educate the public about the importance of moving over and slowing down as you approach emergency vehicles and crash scenes. But we also stand by the words we teach, and we will take action against those who choose to disregard the law. If you fail to move over and slow down in Illinois, you will get a ticket. We will not tolerate reckless behavior. Our message is clear: move over or get pulled over. Help save lives, remind your family and your friends. We all need to do our part to keep these roadways safe. When you're driving and see emergency lights ahead, remember, slow down and move over. Thank you, and drive safely. I'd like now to introduce Sangamon County Sheriff Paula Crouch.
Biaggi also gave a 5-minute speech that happened before that of Adcock, and you can hear that 5-minute speech at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com through this story. You can view the U.S. Department of Transportation's Work Zone Data Exchange by visiting transportation.gov. And to watch or listen to press conferences held by the state, visit gov.illinois.gov/newsroom. And now, a word from Taylorville Community Credit Union.
Looking to save more and stress less? This is Will Perkins. At Taylorville Community Credit Union, we're here to help you build a stronger financial future with great loan and deposit rates, convenient locations, and service from people you know and trust. We're member-owned, member-focused, and proud to serve anyone who lives or works in Christian, Montgomery, or Shelby counties. Discover the credit union difference. TCCU is your partner in financial success. Member NCUA.
With warmer days ahead, Paint Up Pride is ramping up this year's efforts to beautify the city. It begins with Dumpster Days in June, when residents will be able to deposit large waste into publicly located dumpsters. Paint Up Pride will also begin awarding honors for Yard and Business of the Month, with incentives on hand for winners of both. Melissa Miller is the president of Paint Up Pride. She says this year's Dumpster Days event is set for June 6th.
The dumpsters will be at the city garage, and individuals can bring in items to throw in the dumpsters free of charge. Just have to be a Pana resident, so they will have to show an ID at the gate to come in. We won't have any pickups this year. In the past, we used to go around to the houses and pick the items up, but we just don't have the manpower to do that. So last year we cut back on that, and we just have the individuals bring themselves. We may have some individuals there to assist with unloading the items, but that isn't a guarantee. So individuals should just be aware to be prepared to unload their own items and throw them in the dumpsters when they do bring that stuff.
Miller says the dumpster days play a major role in improving the aesthetics of yards and homes.
We've had a lot of yards getting cleaned up, people bringing in just trash items that, too big to fit in their trash cans, cleaning up their yards, making just the property look better. I think something that we will all remember, some of us, our Pain and Pride members that were helping last year, we had a U-Haul truck come through, a large one. Some people had rented it, and they cleaned up a property they, I think, had purchased maybe that was full of trash, and they brought in the whole truck full of garbage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and that's what we want. We want people to take this opportunity to, clean up their property, pick up trash, make the place look a little nicer for everyone.
The Yard and Business of the Month awards will begin in May and run through October. A yard sign and gift cards are among the prizes for winners.
We have a panel of individuals that use a map that was created a couple years ago when this started, has the streets kind of outlined in grids. And they just every month pick a different section of town to start with. They don't get through the whole town in 1 year. They start different sections and move through it. They take a year or two to get through the whole map, but they will be looking at yards, houses, not necessarily part of the judging process. I mean, if you have a nice house, that obviously helps the look of your yard, but it's more looking at the yard and, the flowers, the trees. And then whoever they pick as the winner for that month will get a sign in their yard that they were the winner for that month. They'll get their picture in the paper and on Facebook, and then they get a gift card to use at the Chamber of Commerce business they choose.
Pain of Pride will soon begin planting flowers at a number of spots around town, including in pots at street corners. They are looking for volunteers to help with this endeavor.
At the corner of the City Hall, there's a little flower garden there. We'll go through and mulch that, kind of spruce up a little bit. Those flowers pretty much come back up. Some of the welcome signs in town, so those flowers come back up on their own. We just kind of remulch them. We will be hanging the flower baskets uptown soon. So we purchased giant hanging baskets that hang on the poles uptown, down the main center of town. And then we have some individuals who volunteer to water those, which is a huge job. And those baskets they're just beautiful. They're just big and beautiful. And then last year, we inherited the flower pots that are on the curbs uptown. So the group that was working on those turned them over to us to take over. So we'll be putting flowers out in those pots soon as well.
More information on Pain of Pride is available at their website, painofpride.org. Melissa Miller appeared as a guest on the WTIM Pana Morning Show. And now a word from Heartland Bank and Trust.
Your son was 3 when you planted that tree in your backyard. Now he's grown, planting seeds and making memories with his own kids. Let Heartland Bank help you grow more memories with banking options for every stage of your life. Welcome, former CNB customers. We're your community bank. Heartland Bank. We build relationships that nurture and grow your dreams. Visit us today at hbtbank.com, member FDIC.
Now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. 97-year-old Rita Mae Sloan of Morrisonville died on Friday. Visitation is tomorrow from noon till 4 at KC Hall in Morrisonville. A second visitation will take place on Friday from 5:30 to 8. The funeral service is Saturday at 10 at St. Maurice Catholic Church in Morrisonville. Burial will be at St. Maurice Catholic Cemetery. Arrangements are being handled by a Sally Funeral Home in Morrisonville. And 79-year-old Gary L. Carr of Bonita Spring, Florida, died March 27th. A memorial service will take place on June 27th at 2 at Blue Mound Civic Center in Blue Mound. Burial will be at Hall Cemetery. Arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. Get local news anytime at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and every hour as well right here on WTIM, your